welcome.
Hey, we're back. We've
Yes.
been kind of messing around with our dates and times.
Absolutely.
And we're here on a Tuesday night at 6:30. So anybody out there looking for us,
Here we are.
where we're supposed to be,
Yep.
we're doing what we're there.
Large
We
and
got
in charge.
Yeah,
Kind of.
that's us. Mostly. Right? You're back from your travels
Oh.
and work elsewhere.
Yes. What an incredible time. Chicago, highly recommend it. It's a great time away with the family.
The river walk in Chicago is one of my favorite places, but I
Yep.
haven't been out of the country in a little while now. So
Yeah, well, I hear you've been busy.
We've been busy. We were on day 22 of Stephanie's hospital visit, and so that's been keeping me busy during visiting hours, of course, and jamming most of the other work that I do, whether it's my business or being mayor, into the daytime hours. So it's I love her home. I mean, that's just it. I miss her a lot, and I'm depressed because I'm alone. But we'll carry on till Stephanie's better, and that's they'll let her out when it's time that she is. So that's what we'll do. Right. So if you're watching tonight, hon, I don't know if you are, because you're lounging around in your resort. I mean, ST.Thomas Elgin General Hospital. She called it her hotel the other
Her
day.
hotel?
Yeah. Go to sleep. You're tired.
And Stephanie, I hope you're doing well, and we look forward to seeing you when you're back out.
Yeah.
All right. So, council happened.
A whole lot of stuff. Yeah, we finally, and we went about 3 weeks without a council meeting too, which is probably appropriate that we missed. We moved around mayor's update and missed one because there wasn't a council meeting to do. So let's talk a little bit about last night's council meeting. Couple of points on community improvement plans. These are obviously our community improvement program is there for people who are trying to renovate homes into more apartments or downtown above storefront CIP grants. We also have CIP grants for industry on some brownfield issues and some other things. But there's a couple last night that had to do with housing. So happy to have talked about those last night. Committee of Adjustments talking about some minor variances this week. I think they meet on the 10th, so that's later this week, about minor variances for a number of parkings for townhouses in the Shaw Valley subdivision. So if you're interested, look it up, attend. I think it's online. Light Up Talbot. We set up road closure so we know that an exemption to the animal control bylaw. And I thought, okay, this is really weird. So I had to look that up. This is using live animals in a nativity scene somewhere.
That or the horses on the road.
Well, that's true. We got horses on the road, right? So, we've got to approve your ass on Talbot Street, apparently.
Did you?
Yes, we did. We did approve the road closures and the animal bylaw.
Fantastic.
Right? Yes. Because of the new configuration at the end of Highbury Street, going down to the roundabout, we are designating Edgeware Line and South Edgeware Line as closed or different streets now. They won't be connected. So that was part of what we did last night. We talked about development charges last night. We'll really be studying that as we get into the new year also. And asset retirement obligations. This is a financial thing on our balance sheet to make sure as we write off assets of the city that they also come off our balance sheet. So I do it in my own business. I was shocked to see that it's also a city function, that we have to occasionally look at things we used to own, whether it's snow plows or overpasses. So, all right. What else do we do? There was a request to remove a heritage designation on a house. A recent purchaser had purchased the house in a private deal and did not know till afterwards it had a heritage designation. He has then since gone to his insurance broker and to look at other things he wants to do to the house, and each of them turn out to be a lot more costly because it's a heritage designated house.
For sure.
And we've been saying that we have to watch what we do here. But we've always said as a council, and council repeated itself last night, we've always said as council, it's up to the owner of the property to designate the property as a heritage property, not the city's job to do it. Our heritage committee looked at it and said, yes, we'd love it if it was designated, but council, we've got a letter from the owner of the building saying he does not want it designated. So we said, we go with you.
Yep.
Right. Look at all the proclamations and flag raisings. Boy, there's been a lot lately. This week, Toastmasters, last week, 2 or 3 different ones, but coming up, World Polio Day, the Rotarians have been working on eliminating polio in the world. And so World Polio Day is October 23rd. We said yes to a proclamation and flag raising. Foster Family Appreciation Week, October 21st to 26th, was also approved. That's a Family and Children's Services piece. International Day to Eradicate Poverty is October 17th, so a proclamation and a flag raising there. And I want to say those are the proclamations and flag raising. I want to thank my councillors. This council's really rallied around, and I haven't been able to be at all of them in the last 3 weeks because, of course, I'm up at the hospital wherever I can be. And so thank you for filling in. Rose Gibson, Gary Clark, Jim Herbert, almost everybody has filled in. Tara McCauley, almost all of them is filled in on at least one while we're doing this. So thank you, team, for helping.
Steve Wookie was at the Railway City Road Races.
Yes, he filled in for me at the road races. So look, they've all been taking their turns helping, and so I thank them all doing so. It's been keeping me somewhat sane. We then had a good conversation about the therapeutic pool at the hospital. Now, on the city agenda, only because we had enough people who cared, who wrote us and were asking us questions.
That's great.
This is a hospital-owned asset that a number of years ago they quit using and rented out that area to Talbot Trail Therapeutic to use that area and the pool. There was a dangerous leak in the pool sometime in July, I guess, and the engineer that's looked at it has said it'll be quite costly to fix it. And many people have reached out to us, assuming that the city has something to do with telling the hospital what to do. Well, we're good friends, and we do share all this information. So we did move a motion last night that we'll have this conversation with the hospital, that there are people out there who are willing to raise the money. We don't know if that's a fact or not, but they say they will raise the money that it will cost to regenerate the pool. And then they would like the hospital to think about reopening it. We said, great, thank you for bringing it to us. We'll pass it on the hospital. We'd like the two of you to chat a fair bit. We have seen a number of people who have written in and said, well, thank you for what you're doing at the Y, at our YMCA pool. It's not everybody loves it because it's 80 degrees instead of 87 degrees, but I get that.
Yeah. I mean, for me, 87, I love the 87.
No, okay, look, and I love it all, right? But when there isn't one and there's that one, then let's talk. Maybe we need that same group to be talking to the Y about what temperature that pool could be at whatever additional cost that might be.
Yeah, because we were just at, I was saying we were at a hotel and there was a pool for Lily, and Lily loved it. She loves her freezing cold. She's like a polar bear.
No. Kids get going.
It took me like 5 minutes to work my way in.
I have a rough time getting into cold water, whether I'm walking out in the lake or getting into a pool.
I can't do the polar
And I won't
bear.
say 80 is cold, but the city of St. Thomas, of course, this year is offering the citizens of St. Thomas a real reduced rate on aquafit, swimming lessons, and family time swim at the YMCA. Well, that's caused a few people from near us to say, what about us? Some of the people who are using the therapeutic pool at the hospital are now using the pool at the Y. But they'd like the same discount because they don't live in St. Thomas. I will be, so I shared with them, I will be happy to have that conversation with Mayor Sloan and my friends from Southwold also about saying maybe you'll pitch into this too, and your citizen can get a discount at the pool at the Y. We don't own it, right?
We would love that. Our family, we live in Southwold, so
absolutely. So we're going to have those conversations. So before we get to budget this year, so we know that next year we're capable of doing it all. It was a great conversation last night, and we're moving it on. And other than that, we passed some bylaws, and we went into closed session that I can't tell you about till next week.
Ooh, exciting!
No, lots of more things happening, but we got some pretty big things that we know you'll be happy. I was also at the fundraiser last Thursday night. Councillor Clark was there with me, but a number of 200 and some people for the Eastway, a fundraiser for the Eastwood housing building. And my understanding is they made a little over 100,000, so it's a pretty good fundraiser for one night at St. Anne's, and it was a great meal. And there was a dessert auction, and sometimes you can go a little crazy at an auction. So they ran it a really neat way where tables could bid on what dessert you got, that type of thing. But lots of silent auction stuff, and great to see a great turnout and things going on with the Eastwood project. And if you drive by, they've dug a hole. They've started they're already building.
Amazing.
And considering it was just announced, normally there's a lot more fundraising time. Eastwood likes to get going, and so that's happening. So I've still been out and about. We had the Tiny Hope Works. We had
fantastic,
so many things going on, and I can't make them all right now. Certainly evening ones are usually a lot tougher right now. So that's kind of my week.
Oh,
what do we got coming up?
Oh, well, we have a Toastmasters event that Steve Ogden is helping run, and he messaged about that to share it out, and that's at the library.
Right. And I was just looking it up because I know I'm on a panel.
I was going to say, I think you're on that panel there.
And I think the topic, it's kind of a debate situation or a conversation about political morals or political morality. And I love that thought because we all often talk about how bad all politicians are. Everybody gets painted with the same brush. Well, that night, I think Karen Vecchio's there with us too.
It's October 17th from 6 to 8 p.m. and Karen Vecchio is there.
Yep. And so we'll get to talk about what a couple of politicians and a couple of people who talk about politicians are there.
Professors from UWO, Harold Usher and Anthony
and Harold
Skelton.
Usher too, one of my favorite London politicians. Harold and I go back so far. When I was a member of Parliament, we used to both seemed to be the only people at immigration citizenship ceremonies together. And so we became great friends because we wouldn't steal each other's speeches. So anyway, looking forward to this night. It'd be a fun thing to see, especially when you see the ethics of politics happening south of the border and here in Canada, for us to talk about what our thoughts are on the goodness of that or the downside of that. So happy to do it. Looking forward. Come on out and see us. And
Julie Hayes is the other panelist there as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So it should be a good time. It's at the library in the Carnegie Room.
Yes.
October 17th, 6 to 8 p.m. And then there's also on November 1st, there's the art auction coming up at the Art Center.
Okay.
Which is, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be bidding on stuff. So I'm hesitant to tell people about it, but I have to because it's for a great cause.
That'll be more people that come to bid against what you want.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm back again where I've got stuff leaning against walls in this office, and I have to be careful what else I'm going to buy or receive or go to auctions for because I'm running out of space again, and we really cleared out this office.
It was really clear for a short time.
Yeah. But anyway, but I'd like to attend the art auction too, so I should go see it.
It'll be absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
And then we, of course, have the Pumpkin Prowl coming up for the Downtown Development Board.
Yes.
And Spirit Awards from MyFM are coming up at the end of October as well. So that's going to be fantastic. There are a lot of nominees, including myself. I got nominated as the favorite photographer for St. Thomas.
Wow. Excellent. So
it's great to be nominated. I think that's fantastic.
Great.
Candace, one of my good friends, is also nominated.
So I think this is what else happens is people you love are also on there. So
I can't even
I'm not gonna politic to try and get it.
Totally. And last year was Kat Medlin, another great friend of mine. So I was like, and she won, of course, because she's fantastic. And so it's
perfect.
Great night out is the Spirit Awards. It's free to attend. It's at the Senior Center, I believe.
Yes.
And just a great time.
And there's a couple of other things that are upcoming, and we'll catch you all up next week. I think the Seniors Have Talent piece that I was a judge in last year, I've been asked to do again. So that's coming up. of course, we talked about Pumpkin Prowl, and not long after that, we start getting into Light Up Talbot, which we just talked about.
Yeah, tree lighting is a part of Light Up Talbot this year.
The Optimus Santa Claus Parade is the night after that. So, boy, this year's going fast. There just seems to be so much going on.
Well, I tell you, I've been double booked. I've been double booked for the past 2 months, and I'm finally back to like single bookings.
Right.
And I'm trying to be very clear about not doubling
Don't
up again.
Put somebody. Use your calendar properly.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh man.
And I do it to myself too. I look and say, "Oh, there's nothing that afternoon."
Yeah.
Put it in, and by the time I get home on another calendar, yes, I was supposed to be somewhere else. And so,
yeah.
And so I've been doing a little less booking right now while Stephanie's in the hospital, but it hasn't seemed to caught up to me yet. We were outward booked. We have any questions tonight? Anybody want to talk about the city of St. Thomas and the performance of council?
Yeah. We got to question with the art auction. This is Adam Montgomery is asking if I have any art in the art auction. I don't, because I missed the deadline, which happens. When,
I would suggest you just kind of walk up and put a display out on the street.
Yeah. No, I just put a little like nail in a wall and put some pieces up to auction.
Start auctioning.
Yeah, I should do that.
This is auction number 2A. Let's try it.
I don't know. Maybe they might ban me from the art center if I did something like that.
Oh yeah, sure. I can't see them throwing you out of the art center.
They might. I don't know.
Yeah, we give them
very strict. Very strict. Pumpkin Prowl Adams saying I should dress up as the Joker.
Sure, that would work.
But I'm doing Bluey. Our whole family's going to be Bluey.
That's right. You're getting and you've explained to me what this is.
It's a show about dogs in Australia. It's just absolutely wonderful.
I knew it wasn't in our country. I was going to guess Australia, so I would have been right.
Yeah, right? And it's Lily's favorite show. And
there's a pumpkin parade. There's a puppy parade, a costume parade in the park on the 19th of October.
Yes.
So
wonderful.
We have a couple of little lion costumes for the puppies.
Wow, are you going to do it?
Yeah, and Jojo has a hot dog costume.
Yes,
because she kind of part Dasha and part Cavalier King Charles. So
she
looked. They all look good. I'm hoping I have Stephanie to help.
Yes,
by then.
Fingers crossed.
Because I have a rough time with those three characters.
Oh my goodness!
And those three characters at a parade in Pinafore Park will be.
With other dogs?
I'll need to bring help.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Jess, my wife, has just reminded us of Witches Walk, which is on the 18th of October as well.
Okay.
In downtown St. Thomas. And it's being organized by merchants down here, and it's from 4 to 8 p.m. And you can go to the different stores.
Right. And so we're having a lot more of this.
Yeah.
Where many merchants are participating, and there's some way of gathering prizes by visiting them all, or it's a really good intent to get people to come down and see them all. That's like we did during Oktoberfest, or we do during Light Up Talbot.
Mm-hmm. And Adam Montgomery's going back to the art auction, saying, missed the deadline. Were you not using your calendar appropriately? And like I was, but I run out of time.
I got so many things.
It's on there,
yeah.
But I just didn't have time to get artwork done to put in it because I had all these other projects that I was working on. And then another fellow has commented, "I hope Stephanie's doing well. I was in the hospital with her. She was always so nice."
Yeah, well, she is nice, and it's funny. We all know that Stephanie also does peer support, mental health work. Online and in person when she's well. And so I go to visit her at the hospital most days, and she goes, "Well, I want to introduce somebody." Other patients that are there are still getting Stephanie's peer support while she's there trying to help make herself a little better
she's such
too.
An incredible person.
Well, I love it.
Magnetic person.
Well, I love her on purpose, but we celebrated our first anniversary in that room in the hospital, so we'll do a little better job of it once she gets out. But it's been, look, and I won't lie to you because this is about mental health. This has not been easy for either of us. It's quite a difficult thing. I was teasing with her yesterday that this is day 22 of the hostage taking.
Well, you got to find humor in these things too,
and we do. And look, and it also, we're kind of both at, from a lack of sleep and depression point of view, angry more often than we should be. So we also try to make sure we both know that, but occasionally I mess up. Stephanie never does. What else have we got?
That's it for the questions right now.
Great. Nobody wants. Our city's doing so well. Nobody's asking any questions.
Our city is doing really well.
I agree with you, I continue to drive it and go look at.
Between your council, the staff you have, like it's just
and people are really learning to use customer service at ST.Thomas.ca a lot more. It's for anybody watching tonight. You have any question about the city? It's not a complaint. It's just a question. Anything. Use customer service at ST.Thomas.ca to leave your question, and they'll get back to you. And if it's something you want me to know, don't send it to me on email. Or don't send it to me on Facebook. I can't answer and send it to customer service.
Well, if we're going to scheduling again, you have a lot of things to do.
Right.
You can't answer every single question from 45,000, 50,000 people now.
Well, and I had that question the other night out in front of the hospital. Somebody said, "I want to talk to you." And I said, "Yeah, I know, but I'm really not feeling great about I'm out front of the hospital going to visit my wife. She's been here for quite a while. Can you, use customer service or call my office?" Well, no. I went, "Okay, well, thanks. I've given you the best solution I can give you. Please help by there is between 45 and 50,000 people in the city of St. Thomas, and not everybody can get 15 minutes with any of our councillors. There just isn't enough time in a year to do that if everybody wanted it. Some people, but I know you, Joe. Yeah, I get it. So go through customer service. If the answer you get isn't the one you're looking for, copy me on the next one so that I also get a copy of it. We follow up on it. Great. So let's do it that way.
Exactly. Because the reality is a lot of this stuff is like you're not actually doing the work that they're asking to be done.
My garbage didn't get picked up. Yeah, okay.
You're not going to go out and pick up those garbage bags.
I don't want that to happen. We want a better city than that. So let's talk to our trash removal people. And we'll both know what went wrong or how it happened, so it maybe doesn't happen again. But look, there's some humans that work here too. We do some things incorrect, so let us know, right? And the buck stops at the mayor. If something went wrong in the city, I'll say, "Yep, our fault. Let's look at what the solution is ongoing. Let's work together on it." But as we just talked about with a pool at the hospital, some things just aren't our business. It's not our role. It's not something we do, right? So,
that's one of the things we talk about a lot on the show as well. Like what's municipal, what's provincial.
Where does it overlap? And some of it does. And then what's provincial and what's federal, and where does it overlap? And who should we call about what? But we're here to help. So if you got a question, do it. If you got a question on here, this is a great way to get an answer. Or if you got a question sitting in your home, call or write to customer service at ST.Thomas.ca. And look, even if it's something obscure, they may know the answer, or they'll know who to call to get the answer.
Yeah.
Right?
And then it gets solved.
So it kind of becomes the local St. Thomas Google.
Yeah. The customer service line.
Ask the question, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure the people in customer service are going to thank me tomorrow morning for getting
people
to write their weird questions. But please, right? I'd rather you do that than try to Facebook our counselors or message our counselors online. It's just not as easy for us to get back to you about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like searching through Facebook messages. Like I know, like you've got a million different avenues. Like, okay, when did that message come in? What day? You're doing other things.
Well, and I often answer it with, "Let me look into it," right? Because you're a friend and I want to help.
Yeah.
And then some 7 days later, I remember I see that message again, or you write back. The person writes back, says, "You said you were going to get me an answer." Yep, I apologize. If it had come through customer service, I would have got the answer that day or the following day, back to both of us. So the right answer is to try and use our customer service system. How are we doing?
We're doing really well.
Wow. We haven't had a meeting, and yet you'd think we haven't had a mayor's update, and we think we'd have more questions. But
I know.
I guess life is going well.
Life is going well. Adam Montgomery's got a question here.
What?
So the town in the next 5 years is supposed to go from around 40,000, I think we're at 45,000 to 75,000 because of the VW plant.
Not in 5 years. Over the course of the next by 2035, I think. So it's about 10 years from now, we'll be looking at where we are. We're growing at about a little over 2,000 a year, and in the next few years, that'll go up some more, right? So it's not quite as fast as you said, but we're planning for growth higher than that number just in case, because the mistake is if we underplan it, not if we overplan it.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
And his main question is, where are the houses going to be built? And he's asking because we're surrounded by Central Elgin and Southwold.
Right. Well, we're surrounded by Central Elgin and Southwold, so they're both planning on building a fair bit of housing. Mm-hmm. I noticed today a great new settlement plan, even for the town of Elmer, that may have had, I don't know, a couple of thousand houses being built in it. That's what we asked for, and we'll continue to. In our case, we have the density infill projects that we have going on, big, tall apartment buildings and other things. We'll continue to do those. We'll continue to finish out the subdivisions that are still needing it, whether it's Harvest Run or Miller's Pond or even Shaw Valley, still stuff to grow out there. The northwest area, what we'd call Sandymont Hill, and I'm not sure we've named that subdivision or the two subdivisions in areas 1 and 2, but a lot of housing can be built in both of those. But look, at St. Thomas can't do all of this. London will have to do it. Elmer will have to do it. Tillsonburg will have to do it. Central Elgin and Southwold are both wanting to move forward. And wherever we can, we're working with them on helping with servicing or helping with planning. It is a total team effort in Southwest Ontario to handle the growth Southwest Ontario will have. London is growing at maybe even a faster rate than they thought they would. And now but as we know, full third of the people that want to work at any of the industrial facilities in Southern Ontario will live in London. So they have to get moving too, and they are. So that's the answer. We have started the plan. We have our strategic plan, Building a Brighter Future here in St. Thomas. Just happen to have one on there. Strategic plan 24 to 27, and this covers a lot of that. And we cannot do it alone, but St. Thomas will for sure do their part. We will have the housing that we can built. We'll have the servicing built that we can build. We will plan better transportation systems. The transportation master plan is now being done. The parks master plan is now started. We know that St. Thomas changed drastically when we had announcements like PowerCo and Volkswagen and the rest that will come. So we'll continue to tell you some of the great new strategies we've taken on housing and the great new strategies we've taken on to attract those high-paying jobs. So look, if you're looking for a high-paying job, St. Thomas is a great place to be right now. But don't wait at home. Start making yourself ready for that job. In many cases, there are people coming to our area to also get these jobs. So if you're not employment ready, first of all, if you're not working now, what are you doing? There's jobs available out there. Get working. Get help to get those jobs. Employment Services Elgin or the Employment Services through Fanshawe will help you get a job today. Because look, if you're looking to get a high-paying job at, say, PowerCo in 3 years, and you haven't worked, they're going to say, "Sorry, you're not the one we're hiring." So get on that track. If there's schooling you'll need for the jobs of the future, whether it's you getting your GED and completing high school now, and within the next 2 years doing night courses at Fanshawe to be more ready to be the ones that are picked for these jobs, great. I'm not looking forward to 2027 when people say, "Well, yeah, you attracted this industry and people from out of town got all the jobs." Well, if they come here and they're more prepared to take the job, then they will likely get it. But if you're here already, we want the people currently in St. Thomas and Southern Ontario area to prepare themselves for the growth that'll happen in 26 and 27. Get going. We're gonna talk about this almost every week. We're gonna start talking about.
Maybe we should have some folks from Employment Services.
I think we can. Or Patricia's now taken over the workforce development group.
Oh, very good.
And so her and I have been talking a bit. So I think that's a better thing. Let's talk with somebody who's responsible for Oxford, Middlesex, London, St. Thomas, and Elgin's workforce development. How are we getting people ready for the next jobs? Whether they're to build those houses that we were asked about tonight, we need to train those people too.
Yeah.
Right. So some people are going to end up with great jobs that don't have anything to do with PowerCo, except for the fact they'll be servicing the people that work at PowerCo. So let's do it. That's a good idea.
It's fantastic.
Patricia, if you're watching, you're up next or the week after. She's got to get used to the new job. She's just taken it. So
yeah. And then to go back to the growth side of things, wastewater management.
Yes.
That there have been a lot of grants that are coming in through the Ontario government to help with that, because that's what has been holding back the growth in this area.
Many communities couldn't, some couldn't have water. We're in a pretty good spot for water. But for wastewater, how you manage the wastewater from housing is really important. And so some announcements were just made for Shedden, for in South Woolden and that area, for Elmer itself, so it could plan now its growth. Belmont also. So look at all around us, and look, St. Thomas is building its new wastewater plant too, and we're on the right steps to get that finished and up and running for when we need to. And we share some of that with Central Elgin as part of the deal. So
it's exciting.
Yeah.
Another question about what is the city doing about all the graffiti in the alleyway beside the inn, and a comment about like the back alley wall. And we've actually got a plan in place that was put together when the EDC partnered with the Downtown Development Board to bring on Sarah. There was also an additional part that the city helped fund, which is to help with graffiti removal. And so,
or mural enhancement may be a better way to put it. I mean, that's a beautiful wall there that should have probably been a mural all along. It's not a city-owned wall. It belongs to Back Alley, right? And I think we should be talking to them. How about if we do a real mural here? We really find murals don't get graffitied, or very seldom get touched by amateur artists when a real mural is put up. So maybe that's an answer. But if not, private business owners working with the DDB and the EDC on how to remove graffiti. Look, I just remember my time. I'm going to go back some 30 years as the chair of the Downtown Development Board, standing on Talbot Street, taking graffiti off what was the theater at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because the Downtown Development Board said, we have to help our merchants. We'll do this too. So, yes, same group of people still doing it. Do we wish people wouldn't graffiti? Yeah, absolutely. Right. But we kind of brought it on ourselves too with the mural program. We have a lot of great art in our community, so let's carry on and have even more great art.
I love it. All right. Well, we're over our time. We appreciate all the questions, all the viewers, and Mayor Joe, appreciate your time.
Thank you to be here. It's great.
Absolutely fantastic. And we'll see you guys next Tuesday.